We have done only 2 cases of vertebroplasty under regional anesthesia, and that too in the last 4-5 months only. Surgical treatment for spine fracture is a complex and typically involves either a retroperitoneal corpectomy or a posterior pedicle screw fixation. We describe the case of patients with dorsal or lumbar spine fracture who were cured with a less invasive approach, that is vertebroplasty. So it was a less invasive approach in view of surgical as well as anesthesia point of view. Case 1, a 78-year-old female patient presented with backache since 4 weeks, and she had an extreme backache since 4 days. She was unable to even walk or stand. CT showed D12 fracture without any spinal cord compromise. Her general condition was not good as she had a severe COPD and she was requiring a BiPAP machine every day since few months. So giving a regional or a general anesthesia, whatever, I mean, it was not possible to do this surgery. So vertebroplasty was planned for her and it was performed by the surgeon at the D12 level. She was mobilized immediately on the same day she started walking. Case 2, a 60-year-old female patient presented with extreme backache since 1 week, due to which she was completely bedridden. She was a known case of chronic liver disease with repeated ascites, like every 2 weeks she had to drain her ascites. She had a completely deranged coagulation profile. INR was around 2.8, platelets were around 40 to 50,000. CT showed Elmer fracture. So for her the surgery was not possible, so vertebroplasty was performed at L1 level. Post-operatively, the patient was progressively mobilized in a thoracolumbar spinal arthrosis brace without any recurrence of pain. So what is vertebroplasty? It's a first-line therapy for consolidation and pain control of vertebral lesions. It's basically an image-guided procedure that involves the percutaneous injection of polymethyl acrylate into the diseased vertebral body. It is nowadays the increasingly accepted treatment options for the management of all kinds of midline back pain caused by vertebral collapse, which could be because of any reason, because of fracture, osteoporosis, myeloma, or metastasis. The affected vertebra is localized with the CT with the patient in the prone position. This is done in the OT. Under sterile condition and 11 gauge, we use a Jamshedji needle in our OT. Is advanced to the anterior border of the vertebral body using a paramedian approach under fluoroscopic guidance, and around 5 to 10 ml of this cement is injected. Care being taken that this cement should not go to the adjacent structures. So the patient should be completely immobile. She should not move. Even, if she has pain, if she moves, the cement will get completely dislodged. So anesthesia options in these cases are local anesthesia plus sedation, or you can give a spinal or a general anesthesia. Often the compression fractures being treated, it depends on various factors, like depends on what is the segment of the fracture, how many segments are involved, what is the expected length of the procedure, the surgeon's level of experience, and the patient's status and the comorbidities. If it's an uncomplicated single level vertebral compression, you can manage it just with the local anesthesia and sedation because it generally gets over by 1 hour. However, if it's a multi-level treatment and because of which the surgery is prolonged, or because the patient has got a lot of comorbid factors due to which she cannot lie down in the prone position for a long time, you require a general anesthesia. Now, both the above cases which I just described to you, both of them had a lot of comorbid conditions due to which general anesthesia was impossible. The surgeon refused to do the case under local anesthesia because he wanted to do it, precisely there. So the case was conducted under a bilateral ESP block. ESP block is most often performed using a USG. It's a paraspinal facial plane block in which the needle placement is between the erector spinal muscle and the thoracic transverse process. The local anesthesia is administered in that level, blocking both the dorsal and ventral rami of the thoracic or abdominal spinal nerves. The blockage of these rami of the spinal nerves helps to achieve a multi-dermatomal sensory block of the anterior, posterior, and lateral thoracic and abdominal walls. So this is the transverse process, and you can see the erector spinae muscle lying on that. So the needle is pierced from here, and the drug is injected on this. So you have to pierce the skin, the subacute 3 muscles about the ES. So the contraindication is just the infection at the site of injection. You cannot use this procedure. Anticoagulation, if the patient is on anticoagulant, it's a relative contraindication, and there is no specific guidelines in any of the listed reports. So what we did in both these cases was bilateral ESP blockers performed under USG guidance on each side. The transverse process was identified. In case of the lumbar, 2 space above, and in case of thoracic, 1 space above. And a 21 gauge needle was advanced to the level of the spinous process. The length of the needle again depends on what is the depth of the ESP muscle below the skin. A total of 20 ml of solution was injected on each side. You can use a combination of any drug, whichever you want. We could manage to do both the cases under pure ESP block with maybe just mild sedation, fentanyl or midas. But it was possible, and both of them walked on the same day.